Legendary Cup, ladies and gentlemen. Water Dragons against JD Goes Hard. Our first semifinal. Again in the end of season tournaments here for heroeslounge.gg, the amateur scene. If you guys want to play in those as well, they have a European and a North American division. And all of the questions are pretty much answered on their website, heroeslounge.gg. Well, before we go a little bit more into detail on that, let's introduce our players first. On the left side, we got the Water Dragons, Jufta on ETC, iFeral on Liming, we have Mango on Ana, Donamilamnamina on Falstad. I did better in the past pronouncing this name, but today is a little bit of a fail one. Only had one coffee so far, so that's my excuse. Fail on Malthael. Let's hope that this is only a name and not a description. And on the right side, JD Goes Hard, the red team on our first map in the best of three with Gabriel and Uberak, Fizif on Vala, Netherbeck on Mai. We got Sonic on Karazim and Mustard on Imperius. Usually you're going to see that on Bread, but still. So, Mango and Mustard are in the game and opposing each other. A little bit of a sweet symphony that they could play here. But let's see how this is going to work out for our two teams. This is the end of season tournament for Division 2 and 3, which means that most of the players you will see here today are between Diamond and Master. That's roughly the level of play that you can expect here. So again, this is not the semi-pro scene and the top level of play, but the end of season competition after the entire season has been played out. The top teams within those two leagues make it into the tournament, and that's the Legendary Cup. So we have two best of threes today, two semi-finals, and then we're going to look at the grand final as well, which is, as with the other tournaments that we had here in the amateur scene, a best of 5. Vala with the arrow build, since we are on Battlefield of Eternity. No surprises there. We got the block party on the other hand. Mainly I would say against Karazim, but obviously this is not really a map where you normally get as many globes as you can get on other maps where the objective is right next to the lane, or you have 3 lanes that you can rotate in between. So when you do the block party, a little bit weird to see the wingman on the other hand, I gotta admit. And Fawcett in particular is not really here that you see all that much on this map anymore. So that's a little bit of an odd pick from the Water Dragons. And they are also losing one of their heroes right away. So it's a little bit of a strange setup that they're going for right now. Falstad in particular is not quite the priority choice on Battlefield of Eternity. He doesn't really offer a whole lot for this map. There's obviously always the Mighty Gust that you can set up, but when it comes to immortal damage, he is really outmatched by other choices. Malthael goes down 2, so he's already eliminated. And that's 3 kills against 0 already for JD Goes Hard. Seems like the JD is really going hard over here. The one thing that Fawcett, of course, adds is a global. But when we're talking about globals on the map, in the past, at least during times of HGC and even before that, Dehaka was sometimes a bit of an option. Because the whole idea of a global on this map was oftentimes that during the objective, you're trying to delay it and grab the early level 10 and then force the immortal around the level 10 advantage. But that honestly was before we had those. I mean, since then, a lot of changes have happened. Not only on balance with heroes, but also experience in general, then also the experience globes and a lot more. So those timings don't really work the same way that they did in the past. And therefore, that's not quite the argument for the bird anymore. We'll see how much he can actually do with this. I mean, it's a little bit safer against Karazim, I would say, but it's still going to be a little bit tricky. Same time, we got a triple melee setup for JD Goes Hard. They got Mei on the front together with Imperius and Nubarak. Tons of CC. Really nice meal shield for Vala. Malthael gets chased. The problem is that the Immortal is already on the map, so they might get Malthael. The question is, can they still win the objective? Thankfully for them, the Water Dragons, well, they got Vala, but they also were just simply defending their own here. So it was a little bit of a weird split. While 4 heroes were starting to chase Malthael, Vala said, boys, I got this, went on the Immortal very much so alone, and the blue team gets the counter kill. So now the Water Dragons still have a chance to make a bit of a play here, but of course there's already a significant lead for JD Goes Hard with 4 kills to 1 and the experience advantage that they're holding. But their main damage dealer is gone. The camp at the top has been defeated, and we have the Shaman pushing through the bottom of the map for the Water Dragons. So this could actually start to hurt them a little bit as the fight continues. Everybody's on the defense, and Vala in the meantime is starting the attack. Monster Hunter, no stacks on the level 1 just yet. There's no level 7 for the repeating arrow. Needs to be a little bit careful since she's completely isolated as well. But they are starting to take a little bit on lead on this one. And Vala, of course, has now to defend the bottom of the map. Exactly for the reasons mentioned. That Shaman camp is going to do a bit of work if they don't. Here comes the stun, though. And that's a kill against Mei. But Malthael falls to 4 versus 5. And they trade even, at least for now. Vala moved back in, has the repeating arrow now, and can start to use that. Halftime show has already been won by the red team. A little bit of an awkward split that they're going for here, but so far it's working out for them. And let's not forget that the Water Dragons do not have their level 7 talent right now. Same time now, we have also Malthael going straight in for his stacks on level 4. Got full on commitment to the burrow charge, by the way, for Nubarok, so Gabriel is going into an engage setup with a triple melee. They can afford to do that without losing any tankiness at the front line. But here comes the turnaround attempt again, and Vala is about to lock the Immortal in. There we go, Immortal is down, and that is the first objective in the hands of JD Goes Hard. So, yeah, nicely done. Okay, have a little bit of push power. Again, they have the advantage in kills. This is a little bit awkward still, though. Seeker full-on missile setup for Li Ming. Yeah, not really a fan here. The 2 damage dealers, it's a bit of an awkward setup that they're using here. I really have to question this a little bit. This doesn't look like they have a draft that really caters to the objective of the map at all. I mean, Li Ming can of course get some damage in, but then no Calamity for those team fights, it's always a problem. Calamity is an absolute must-have in a competitive game on Li Ming. If you're not comfortable playing Calamity on Vala and you're trying to win the game, you're playing a competitive setup, you should definitely pick a different hero, because Calamity is just an absolute staple in the build for her, and you kind of gotta use her. You're just wasting the potential of the hero completely. So now that we have a full-on Seeker setup, we'll see what exactly Li Ming can do with that, but especially on the Immortal damage, JD Goes Hard is just looking way better. That being said, though, they have to make sure that they take the Immortal points in. AKA, sorry, not the Immortal points, the arrow points. They need to get a few more stacks on the level 1. So the puncturing arrow over here, 5 stacks have so far been acquired, but in order for Vala to get all of her damage through, she needs to be a little bit successful there. I don't really think she should waste her mana. The problem with Vala in this build is oftentimes that you're running out of mana quickly. If he has planned already to Hearthstone back, then hey, by all means go for it, but you can't just simply vault into minions, for example, and try to get the double arrows through. You will deplete your mana within seconds, and then you just don't stand a chance any longer. So, with that said, half a level until 10. And they're stealing it away from Fail again. He is not having a good game, let's just face it. He is not having a good game. That was the 4th death of Malthael, and he has now 2 camps already stolen from him. Level 10 abilities are in, bam, ETC down. There's the Ice Wall, that didn't do a whole lot. And again, the quick reminder that during all of the tournaments within Heroes Lounge, Ice Wall was the only available ult for Mei since Avalanche was banned out. It's up to the tournament organizer at the end of the day if they want to ban a talent, if it's bugged, or if there's a problem with it. They decided to ban Avalanche for those tournaments, so that's why it's not played at all, whereas in the Panda Cup, for example, where the talent was allowed, it was played continuously. So, as this is now the case, with the level 10 ability, there's obviously no way for the Water Dragons to really engage into a fight over the Immortal, at least initially. Later on, they might still be able to make a play here, but for the time being, they just have to accept that they're going to lose the halftime show, which has already happened. Camp can still be attacked over to the right, but the halftime show has already been lost. And we actually also have now Divine Palm in, plus Disintegrate. I mean, I keep harping on a lot of these builds and also what you're trying to do, but again, we're talking about Division 2 and Division 3 over here. You would kind of want Li Ming going into a normal setup. And Disintegrate is, in this particular setup, kind of nice because you can burn down the cocoon, so that's kind of neat. Normally you would expect the Wave of Force here, it's the standard talent for Li Ming, and Disintegrate is pretty much only taken as a counter to a Nubarok because you can more or less deny his ult, since Disintegrate burns the cocoon down within half a second. So, right now, there's still the push coming through. Yeah, 7 stacks by now for Vala, by the way. Big lead on this one. Nice timing also on the camp. Is now pushing through the top, so they're going to be able to get some structural damage with that. And here comes the Ice Wall. Mighty Gust pushes them back for just a second, as Falstad is trying to defend with the rest of the team. And we got the nano boosted Malthael. Not necessarily a bad thing, especially when your Li Ming doesn't have Calamity to nano boost Malthael with the Tormented Souls here. But there's a lot of CC on the other side, and technically speaking, the only thing that Nubarok, for example, has to do is hold back his own ult, wait until the nano boost hits, and then cocoon the target. So they can pretty much play a little bit of a rock, paper, scissors style over here, where they're just trading ults the entire time. ETC gets locked down and gets dropped. Absolutely murdered, and that's the second Immortal in the hands of JD Goes Hard right here. Okay, with that now, the push through the top first and foremost. Imperius at the bottom of the map is dealing with Malthael, and this fort is gonna fall. This has been one-way street heroes of the Storm thus far. Granted, there's 2 kills on the side of the Water Dragons. Is he getting the solo kill down here? Damn. Gotta be a little bit careful with that. But look at the damage outputs too. 12,000 for Falstad, same as we have for Vala, but of course Vala excels right now on the damage towards the Immortal. 13,000 for Imperius. Despite the relatively low numbers in regards to hard damage, JD Goes Hard is in a position where they have like multiplied the kills on the other side. So they're looking fantastic over here. Down to the bottom of the map. What else are we gonna have here? There's another camp to be taken. ETC and Malthael share the kills or the deaths on the side of the blue team. The Water Dragons are now nearly a level and a talent down. We got 10 stacks over here. So Vala is getting a little bit closer with all of this to completion. And it's already starting to fire away against the fort here. Yep, double arrow gets committed. The Nubarok with the acid drenched mandibles here. And 13 on the board as they're trying to go for ETC. And another fort falls. Falstad still attempting to soak experience topside thanks to the global. Has not gone into Boomerang though. Went for charged up here. So went into a full lightning rod build, which doesn't really give him a lot of space to work with topside. Now, I can always make the argument that on this map it's not really that important to go for Boomerang because you lose out on a bit of the value that you want on the side lane since it's a 2-lane map. At the same time, if you're trying to play a global, then it's usually a nice not to have that, and also it adds the burst damage on the Immortal as well. But as I explained at the beginning, Falstad isn't really a great pick on this map to begin with, and the build that has been chosen here is, yeah, not really optimal for the map. Doesn't really help you a lot with what's going on here. If we would see in future games Falstad on 3-lane maps, on bigger maps, then that would definitely give them a bit more of a leg to stand on. But right now they're definitely struggling a little bit to get this combo together. Malthael, of course, could turn this around later with a good nano boost, and him having also his inevitable end in just a second. He might be able to move in and really do a whole lot of work here and allow the rest of the team to pick it up. But it's going to be a bit tricky for Li Ming. She really has to connect these skill shots. Went even into the Cannoneer over here. So not a single talent into the teleport. We don't have the Illusionist. We don't have Calamity. But at least we don't have Glass Cannon. I mean, let's look at the bright light at the end of the tunnel. Same time now though, next objective is up. Top side gets pushed. Vala at the bottom of the map is trying to take this one down, and Fail wants the kill, but fails to get the lockdown. Okay, Jufta was also looking to see if he can maybe get a power slide on Vala and set it up for the team. It didn't really work. Some damage is still connected with the Immortal on the other hand. The blue team has so far not really been aggressive, trying to push this cross map and try to go for this. Bottom of the map, they're clearing this one out, but all the way up to the top, there's a catapult and the camp now starting to do some magic. Whereas we have in the middle of the map still this little stalemate with Li Ming getting continuous damage in. Combo after combo. So, for now, Falstad is the one to retreat. And this is really the moment where the red team should start to attack. They see Falstad, this is the moment to try and get a little bit more aggressive, even if it's just for a short period of time. But they don't really look for anything here. They're still trying to take their own camp now. It's a bit delayed, but it would still help them, of course, to push through the top, especially if that fight is going to continue a bit longer, which is clearly possible considering that the halftime show hasn't been achieved by either one of these teams. But still the attempt to come through here. In the middle, there's the power slide. Okay, pushing her back. Mei is so far still fine. Didn't have to use the trade yet either. So there's that. And of course, Palm is also always available, even though I don't really think that May is going to be the first recipient of that particular quest. And Vala is just dodging out in the back. I mean, Fiziv so far didn't really have a lot to do here. He's just sitting behind his front line, waiting for an opportunity, waiting for the tanks to set something up. As I said previously, they have a ton of CC, so you can definitely do that. And here's the pushback as Falstad is starting to move through the top and starts to go for the cap. But that's really the moment when you need to make a play. Jufta down here is in trouble, gets attacked once, there's the repeating arrow, and that's a dead ETC. Try to go for the mosh pit, got interrupted towards the end. 5 versus 4 on the map now. Push at the top is continuing. Falstad is trying to come back up after he initially flew down to help in the fight, but now the halftime show is absolutely certain to end up in the hands of JD Goes Hard. They get the level 16, got the Seething Hatred over here. In addition to that, again, you can play with an arrow build, but Manticore and Farfly Quiver is usually the better option in the long run. But, of course, having Seething Hatred here is really going to help you if you keep your Hatred stacks up. It's really nice to just like burn the Immortal down as well, so it's not like it's a horrible talent to choose. But still, Manticore Farfly Quiver is an insanely powerful combo, which is the reason why on the higher level of play it gets chosen like in, I don't know, 99.9% of cases. We also have Under King into Epicenter here, so that's going to help with the stun setups a ton. We're currently 15 minutes into this. And in our first semi-final match, I gotta say, JD Goes Hard is looking quite strong compared to their opponent here. We got the triple cleanse now for Kerosene. That's also going to help them against ETC. And, well, let's have a look at if they can take a little bit more than only the 40 here. Falstad at the keep. Falstad is still sitting all the way up at the top. And, yep, Disintegrate comes out. Keep in mind, you kind of want to save it also for the Cocoon whenever it gets utilized. They don't have 16 yet, but it's getting closer. The problem is they might not be able to get it for the defense. And the bigger question, of course, is will there be a kill for the red team that allows them to go even for core here? Doesn't seem like it. So far, they're just poking around and make sure that the Immortal is not going to get too much done without losing an enormous amount of hit points. And now that the fort or the keep has fallen, JD Goes Hard. The team is just starting to move back and saying like, okay, it's fine. Let's just try and steal the camp here maybe. And they might just commit to that. Nah, they let it slide. 16 is now ready on both sides. But again, it has been pretty much a one-way street. Here's of the Storm, and Li Ming is going even into the Fireflies now. Yeah, definitely believing in the power of the magic missiles over here. She has 34,000 damage, so I mean it's nice damage numbers. The problem is that most of it is just simply poke damage that she gets during the stalemates in the middle of the map, and that doesn't ever translate into actual kills. So there's a lot of fake damage in the game that doesn't mean anything if you aren't able to follow up with kills, and that's for example where Calamity is really a fantastic skill to have. Lunara oftentimes is a similar situation where a lot of the damage over time that she can supply doesn't translate necessarily in pressure against the opponent's teams or kill pressure. So the numbers might look good, but if it doesn't lead to anything, then it's like, a little bit of a wah-wah situation. Either way, 68,000 damage for the bird now on Siege. We have 72 for Vala, who has by now also taken the top numbers for JD Goes Hard on the hero damage. Nothing insane, honestly. But given the fact that she's the one trying to focus on the Immortal, every single objective that spawns, it's still alright. She's the main damage dealer for them, at least coming from range. Everybody else is sitting, of course, at the front line, trying to protect her a little bit. And as you would expect, Imperius in particular has also a pretty decent number here. The mustard is spicy, pretty much. So, 2 kills to 9. Next objective gets announced. Vala isn't done with her quest yet, but she's getting closer. Same is also true for Malthael, who's now sitting at 141 stacks for his level 4 talent. And with the next fight coming around level 18.5 for the red team, chances are pretty good that it's going to be completely solved before level 20 hits for either one of the teams. But the pressure is still there. Yeah, they're giving up on this a little bit. Vala down here together with Kerosene, still trying to knock this one out. Up at the top, the fight is already starting up. Vala still focused on the objective. They've been doing this multiple times now. Keep the 4-man up at the top for the defense and have Vala in a position where she simply tries to go for aggression at the Immortal. She doesn't win it this time, but it's still fairly close. A couple of thousand hit points, the difference. And now the blue team is actually falling back to defend the top lane first, which opens up the entire Immortal to JD Goes Hard, and Vala takes advantage of that immediately. Solid damage against that bad boy. Yeah, they're trying to get the kill against Mustard on the other hand. Here comes the nano boosted Malthael, and no Cocoon. That's why I said you should try and save that ability if you can. Yeah, Cocoon just got used, but burned down, so coming back to the initial point. If you have Malthael with a nano boost and Tormented Souls, just wait and Cocoon the shit out of him. Even if he gets freed, you're still going to be fine afterwards. They're not going to try for the fight. Instead, they're coming into the battle here at the Immortal. And down goes Li Ming. She's the first one to fall. Falstad is in trouble. Karazim tries to hunt him down, and that looks like a secured kill. He's dead too. ETC also dying. Malthael, the only one that's still alive outside of Ana, and he was for just a second trying to see if he can maybe get the Immortal. The answer, as you might have guessed already, is nope. We got 12 kills to 2. And Malthael is on the run. The Immortal wide open. Once again, topside keep has already taken damage. The Water Dragons are in a lot of trouble now. They're definitely in deep waters at this point. So level 20 talents are in. The Immortal has been won. Granted, only a small shield, but still, it's gonna hurt. We got the Rewind in. Already have the Storm Shield here. The Flash Freeze. And now the push topside with Imperius going for Impervious. And of course, even without Manticore level 16, we still see the Farflight Quiver for Vala, who's now at 25,000 damage. 12 kills to 2. The full dozen. The keep definitely gonna fall even before the Immortal arrives. The keep is pretty much toast. And that means the core is the next object on the agenda. JD Goes Hard. They want to take the early lead in this best of 3 series. It's the semi-final of the Legendary Cup. And they are pushing aggressively for the core top side. Immortal loses hit points quickly. And the red team is a little bit hesitant. Given their advantage with the level 20 talent. Yep, there's a snap decision. And ETC is dead. The bird is down too. And this is game, ladies and gentlemen. As JD Goes Hard takes the Water Dragons down on Battlefield of Eternity and secures the 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series at the semifinal. Game number 2, we are in Towers of Doom, everybody, and on the left side we got Jufta on Cassia for the Water Dragons, who struggled a little bit on the first map, trying of course now to tie the series up and force the final map in the best of 3 here at the Legendary Cup semifinal. Doni Malanima on Lunara. We have Hatu on ETC, Iferal on Abatha, and Nebet is playing Karazim. Whereas on the right side of the map, JD Goes Hard in the lead in this best of 3, plays Gabriel on Anubarak. Again, we got Knetterbeck on Tacita, Fizif on Falstad, Mustard on Blaze, and Sonic is playing Malfurion. Okay, so let's check this out and have a little bit of a look on how this is working here. For this point, we actually got a charge strikes already taken, and we got again Wingman. Makes a little bit more sense, honestly, on this map to go for a Wingman build. Actually, it's Wingman, to be honest, is like on a big map with a lot of camps, like the standard build. You normally make the change on level 7 that you're heading into Boomerang anyways, and you're not gonna go into a full charge strike setup unless you really feel that there is some kind of hero that jumps at you, like Greymane for example. It could be a Genji if it's getting picked, which is normally not the case these days anymore. But either way, at this point we have the jump all the way up to the top for just a second from Falstad. Okay, Fizif apparently like flying a little bit too deep here. We got an Abatha on the other side, and we'll see how this is going to work out for them right now. The Abatha setup with the Karazim can be super nasty. We have a Cassia in the mix as well. Charge strikes instead of going for stacks. But until level 7, there is obviously an advantage for JD Goes Hard, as they're going to try to make their plays over here. Nebet, on the other hand, he needs to be a little bit careful, and they're even invading the camp here. This is the beauty of what you can do when you have a team that plays Abatha. If you time it right and if you play around it a little bit, then you can, at least in the early game, dominate the map a bit, establish a presence, and steal maybe some of these camps away. And that's exactly what they're trying to do right now. So they take the first one already, could move in for the second. Nebet at the same time is still poking around a little bit. Change, by the way, on ETC. I talked about it on Battlefield of Eternity. Now that we are on a different map, we have actually Prog Rock as the talent. Now there's not as much melee on the other side, not that many auto attackers. So it makes it kind of noteworthy that there's multiple reasons for it, but obviously it will make it much easier for ETC to also get the stacks together, given the amount of camps on the map and given what else he can actually bring to the table here. Okay, commitment for the updraft, not going into the lightning rod on level 4 here. Tries to go for the repositioning. We got Under King still, so more of an engage for Nubarak 2. This time they only play with a double melee setup, relying on Tassadar and Falstad for the damage. And the Bird, of course, also wants to be in a position where he can equalize some of that global power that Abathur brings to the table here. At the same time, we're seeing the Strangling Vines on level 4 and Adrenal Overlord after Envenom Nests. A little bit of a hybrid setup that we see for Abathur right now. Envenom Nest can be pretty annoying on the other hand, so it also gives you a lot of vision. If you're going more into Toxic Nest build, then you can have a little bit more vision on the map, and depending on what style you use and how deep you go into the particular build, you can also, first of all, A-grade vision, slow rotations down, and do a lot with that. So it can be quite helpful depending on how you play the map here, and if you want to, for example, slow an opponent down as they're approaching, let's say, a camp, if you want to check the boss, or if you want to just simply delay them on an altar. And talking altar, we're fighting over one already, as top left, top right get exchanged, so the first few shots are getting fired over here. And down to the bottom of the map, we have Hertua already in play. There's the shots fired, and bam, 32 to 36, even with an attempt to go for ETC as they're moving down to the bottom. And ETC is about to survive. What? Alright. Nicely done. The 4-man gank that didn't result in anything. Well done by them. Yeah, someone's flying for a little bit of experience. Okay, they're throwing that one out a little bit, but I like that we have at least Boomerang now on level 7. So as you see, easy move to take this one out, easy move to come in and simply say, alright, we can take some of these bad boys now down too. Backline minions, obviously the first one to fall if you hit the Boomerang correctly, which is exactly what we're seeing here right now. Top side, Abathur is still sitting tight. Once that we're in the later stage of the game where we have less altars spawn, it's going to be interesting to see what else they can actually do with it. Especially coming in with, let's say, for example, I don't know. Does Abathur side soak? Does Abathur just make the moves on the map in general that he has to? Side soak a little bit, get the symbiote soak in, try to keep them ahead in experience. Falstad is something that you have to be aware of and you need to be cautious, but it's still something that should allow you to get a lot of damage done, or a lot of like damage done in terms of like map control, in terms of like experience, where you stand with that against your opponent's team. Not even to mention that also Abathur is usually one of the heroes that has top damage numbers in the game. But we have really a bit of a weird one, because now there's Network Carapace over here as well, so this build on Abathur is kind of all over the place. I gotta admit that so far I'm not really impressed with the builds that we're seeing from the team. It's not really concise what's happening right now on that end. So at this point we have already the poke coming in, Juvda is sitting there, yeah, they're trying to even invade this one. Starting to become a little bit tricky for the red team, honestly. Not looking as good. Ooh, could be the kill against Karazim though, and he goes down. Nicely done, well played by him. Okay, so they get this one after all. But yeah, also we got the Splintered Spear on level 7. Oftentimes talking about there's like the two schools of Lunara pretty much, European and North American style, with the Blossom Spell there as an option. Under King, Subterranean Shield are now in, and yeah, let's see what level 10 brings, because that's when things are really gonna start to get a little bit spicy. I mean, we're 5-6 minutes in, we didn't see more than a single kill just yet, and that just happened a second ago. So thus far it hasn't really been a very aggressive game, mostly because the Abathur team is obviously usually unwilling to fight before they have the ultimate evolution where they can finally put a 5th body into a team fight. We get the Mosh Pit, we got also the 7-sided strike. So this is pretty much where you can start to make your plays with Abathur and really commit to the team fight too. So let's see if they can make that. Let's see. Yeah, over here, what do we have? 32 against 28, 10 versus 10. Yeah, they're applying pressure. They definitely want to know. And Abathar is, by the way, transitioning into the middle, soaks a little bit of experience here, and is also getting topside. Yeah, that was a little bit too easy. Falstad saw the bird outside of the gate and thought he could fly in and take him down. Or the slug. And that didn't quite work out. Topside, we already had Abathar attempting to take the experience with the symbiote, and that at least worked. So he is more so interested of trying to push these lanes out, apparently, for the time being. We have a single altar now facing up on the map, so that could be our first big team fight with all Abathar committing to a copy. Who has a bit of trouble. Gust saving Malfurion, that was important. Now that's a lot of cooldowns burned. That's a ton of ults burned. Altar is spawning in 4 and the red team has nothing right now. Absolutely has nothing. That is actually a little bit tricky. Yeah, there's no way they're fighting for this any longer. I mean, even Tassadar is in trouble. They want the kill. They even let the... Nice, Valkyrie. They get the kill. Even a 7-sided is being committed to. The double ETC as they're trying to go for Nukurak, who doesn't care. So they just blew all of their R buttons here as well and walked away with only a single kill. But at least they get the altar behind that too. So that makes it worth it. 4 shots fired and that ties us in points. But with Tassadar down, they can maybe push the bot lane a little bit more aggressively. Which is pretty much what they are doing right now. Yeah. Starting to move in here, and topside gets also pushed out. Mustard is already doing that. Abathar could try and soak at least some of the experience here. They could also rotate someone else over. It's a little bit more of a laid-back game than what we've seen in on the first map. Way more aggression around the objective on map number 1, Battlefield of Eternity. Which, again, granted, is obviously also because of the map itself. Another attempt for ETC. Yeah, the wall is there. Slides back. Nicely done. And survives here. No problem so far. Lunara and Tassadar, the 2 top damage dealers in the game, with Abathar also coming out at 14,000 damage. Also not too bad for him. Yeah, down to the bottom of the map now. Still the red-blue team pushing this even further. In addition to that, the greater spell shield over here. Someone is really afraid of Tassadar. And also the Soma Transference. Again, this build is a little bit all over the place. It's a bit of a support build for Kharazim in particular, with the level 4, the level 13, a little bit of Toxic Nest, a little bit of pushing attempt with the Network Carapace on level 7. So, I mean, it's kind of working for them so far. Abathar, let me see, what does he actually have in terms of experience? So, not as much as I thought. I thought he was a little bit more active with the symbiote on the side lane, but apparently I was mistaken there. He's only coming out to 7,800 XP in total. It's actually a little bit disappointing, to be honest. He needs to step this up towards the late game a little bit. Could still, by the way, also use his global to move to the top and side soak experience. That, on the other hand, was a really nice mosh pit attempt, but he got interrupted immediately. 7-sided, saving Kharazim for just a second, but he dies regardless. They're trying to go for the turnaround against Tassadar in this case. Falstad already moving out just a second before. Kneta back falls. That's Tassadar down, and they're still going through the fight here with Abathar helping out Lunara, getting a few more shots connected here in the attempt to drop Blaze 2. Could not quite make that work though. And even more hits now coming in from Jufta at the same time with Cassia. But ETC went too deep. Gets punished for it. The Slug, on the other hand, gets the channel through on the altar. Or at least on one. Here comes the one on the second on the other hand. Did the Slug go for the one channel? No, who completed that? 24 to 24. They're trading even. And yeah, off we go. It's a little bit more of a back and forth that we have right now. Abathar is currently sitting at the bottom. That's definitely the one where you have to be a little bit more careful, but you also can now help out Nebet topside to take the camp here. Yeah, already starts to push some out. Abathar, yeah, is slugging away from this one. As I said, that was definitely a bit of an exposed position for him. They're trying to make the play for Lunara, and she gets out. Shots connected, the pumpkins come in, the bell tower is nearly dropped. JD goes hard. They're trying to hit it. They are trying to hit that 2-0. Get to the grand final immediately with an easy win in the semis. The Water Dragons still fighting back though. Trying to really establish a bit of a position over here and trying to get the kill at the bottom. Double ETC over and over again. It's actually interesting to see that we have 2 ETCs. Top side, Blaze has fallen against Abathur and Karazim, so he went a bit too deep. And now down at the bottom of the map, as you could just see, Falstad has also fallen, which means that all of a sudden there's momentum. A lot of momentum for the Water Dragons, as we have them pushing bot side and trying to convert the bell tower. Their own bell tower took a bit of a beating in that last attack, but here's a chance with the minion wave that pushes in to get some more damage connected. But as the triple altar phase is now about to spawn, they're actually falling back instead, trying to set up the bell towers. And also to steal the camp away. Now bell towers might just work out for them with a third, simply because Falstad is back and can fly in, so that should not really be a problem. The Slugger is still sitting over here, yeah, trying to make it over. Or could potentially. Falstad, on the other hand, is sitting on the right side. Has already been sniffed out, is going for the channel up here. Hedger at the bottom of the map is trying to get his. Yeah, interrupt attempt, successful. Should have stayed a little bit farther to the left. But Cassia has now rotated topside too, so she's going to take the second one. Falstad probably going to fly down and help the rest of the team, which is exactly what's happening right now. The bird is flying in, and Nubarak is already low. There's the 7-sided, a bit of damage connected from Nebet. Cassia has channeled the top and is now moving back down to the bottom. Yeah, and over here, there's still the fight in our 5 versus 5. Abathur hasn't used his ult yet either, so he still has a copy available. Falstad also with a crippling hammer now on the 16, both with even talents, and again, nearly even trades. 2 for 1 this time on the triple phase against the blue team. The Water Dragons falling behind a little bit, 16 to 20. Again, they need to win this one to force game 3, and they look at the kill, but they can't get a Nubarak. It was so close, but Falstad came in with a great gust and good timing for him, shutting that down easily. Mustard at the same time, also now receiving a few more hits from Lunara, who has so far this game actually done a lot of damage just like poking. And again, it's always a little bit of fake damage with Lunara. The damage over time doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting kills out of it. But she's sitting still at 37,000 right now, pokes them down slowly, has of course also, here's the C effect as well. With the toxins, we got 30,000 for Tacita. He's, well, not quite done with the stacking process, but he's getting there. 195 as we speak. And still the push through the bottom with also more pumpkins coming in the attempt to convert the bell tower. And Blaze isn't here. Blaze is topside. He's dealing with the Abathur push at this point. So there's only 4 bodies for the red team. Abathur definitely helping, and that's an easy bell tower conversion. So despite the fact that they are a little bit behind on the core points, they are ahead in experience right now. The Water Dragons are looking solid on bell towers. So if they can now capitalize on that position, they might just be able to take the lead here and turn this slowly around. There's a single altar now starting. And let's not forget that there's also still a boss up on the map, which so far nobody has really committed to. If that happens at any point at all, it's probably going to be after a kill. Oh, talking about kills. And Nubarak was in a bit of problem here already. Lunara hopping in too deep, but gets saved. And Moshpit gets interrupted again. The cocoon came also out. They dropped 2 ults here for ETC's attempt to slide in, and Ertua are nearly falling here. Actually, in this case, ETC and Nubarak both missing their stuns as they're trying to make the play. Bell tower is now ready and should be channeled. And they're actually moving in for this one. This is going to be a tricky one. This is not an easy one to fight for. Simply because JD Goes Hard does not have a fountain either to the left nor right. So if they start losing that fight, they have no retreat option and can only go top. So Abathur still has the copy up. Can now easily go for that. Doesn't though. Yeah, they're not committing to anything here. They still have a fountain up, so they could tap. And they actually lose it. What? The altar is lost 13 to 20. And now JD Goes Hard just moves in and starts to take the bell tower back. A lot of the ults have never even been committed to in that last fight, and that's kind of frustrating, honestly, if you convert the bell tower and then you can't win the altar. I think some of that, I'm pretty sure that they still had their fountain up. I mean, if you look at them, they didn't Hearthstone back, so yeah, they tapped the fountain and now they're good again. But they apparently wanted to wait for 20 and were willing to give the altar up, regardless of the advantages that they had in terms of their position. Fair enough. At least, I don't really think so they had to do that, honestly. But again, now they have the level 20 for an entire level. The question is obviously, what are you going to do with this? Just simply holding onto the bell tower at the bottom, trying to get the boss, trying to get another bell tower converted. So, yeah, in this case, honestly, I think they should have fought. 20 is not worth it in this case. I mean, you are in a great position anyways, and as I said, they have a bell tower to their right, they have a bell tower to their left, and they can always retreat and tap the fountain. So that was definitely playing it a little bit too safe. At least poke out with Abathur a little bit and delay the channel on the altar. But yeah, that was a bit of a lost opportunity. Either way, now they have an advantage. Now the question is, of course, what are you going to do with it? Because if you just wait until the opponent has level 20 in the first place, then the entire exercise was pointless to begin with. And it seems like that's exactly what happens. They escorted one camp in for 3 shots. I'm pretty sure they could have done it without the talent, given the position and that Blaze rotated top. But yeah, 13 to 17. They're still a little bit behind here. And let's go. 20 is nearly going to be ready for them. Okay, there comes the rotation through the middle. A little bit of experience going to be lost. Now Feral is sitting tight. Boss is now getting taken by 2. And the channel in the middle is happening. So that's 5 shots against 4. And can they get a little bit more down at the bottom? If they can connect those 3, nope, get easily taken down by Tassadar. So they haven't really picked up on the fact that nobody is down at the bottom of the map, so the boss gets easily taken. So that's 13 against 12 for now, but they're getting down into the single digits here. Yeah, I don't know. There's a little more potential than that. They're trying to hold on to the bot lane at least. So trying to hold on to the bottom of the map in the attempt to just simply control the lane, get a few more pumpkins connected. 50,000 damage now from Tassadar, 51,000 from Lunara at the same time. Yeah, and maybe with a good... If they get a good Valkyrie, for example, they might have a chance. I don't think that a Nubrakas... Yep, they blow him up. Okay. They get a Nubrak immediately dropped. Well, as I said, good Valkyrie. And you get that. That would do the trick. Abathur a little bit late on that combi, by the way. I don't really think that they can follow up on that. Doesn't matter too much, though. 5 kills against 3, so they are again in a bit of a lead. But on the objective, on the core, they are still behind. But, yeah. That is a move where Abathur should immediately try to come in with the Symbiote. Yep, there we go. Try to get that bell tower down as low as they possibly can. Force the rotation of Blaze towards the top. And do his worst here. So far, so good. With the camp spawning now, Water Dragons, they just play the same style. They go for the camps whenever they are up. They're waiting for objectives, they're holding on to the bottom, and they're trying to push the top lane with the help of Abathur, which is pretty much all that they need to do right now. So this one should be a freebie for the same reason as we mentioned earlier. This bell tower is in the hands of the blue team, so the only approach is through the top. So if they start fighting here, they can even position Abathur down here, honestly. As long as they keep an eye on Falstad so that he can't fly in and take him down. Shouldn't really be too aggressive here. Shots are already fired. 9 points. Hello? Someone has to interrupt. What was that? Nobody interrupts? That's game. What? They simply let it happen. Okay. Well, that's the win. Water Dragons take it against JD Goes Hard in game number 2. Apparently, not really paying attention to the numbers here. But with the final few pumpkins moving in, both of those altars together take 10 points down. They were at 9, and that's game. So, didn't even fight for it. Alright, so we go to game number 3. Fair enough. Game number 3, Tomb of the Spider Queen. A little bit surprised to be here, honestly. Well, maybe not surprised to be in the 3rd game, but I'm a little bit surprised the way that the second map ended, because it just seems that JD Goes Hard did not pay any attention to the points that they had left on the core. They positioned themselves in the middle of the map and were ready for a fight and never took it, and apparently missed that there were also some pumpkins moving through the bottom of the map, so that was a bit unfortunate for them. Now that we're going in game number 3, we'll see who advances to the grand final. We got Hertio on Johanna, Doni Malanima on Sylvanas, Jufta on Imperius, Nebadom Alfurion, and I Feral on Li Ming. JD Goes Hard on the other side with Gabriel for the 3rd time in the 3rd game on ETC, Fizev on Maiev, Knetterbeck on Gul'dan, Mustard on Blaze, and Sonic on Ana. Yeah, they definitely have their comfort heroes, don't they? So a few of them play now with the same hero for the 3rd time in a row. Ooh, and we're starting things again with the Force Armor. Now, generally speaking, I'm not really the biggest fan of Force Armor, especially on this map, since it's so globe heavy. But at the same time, I seriously hope that at least on level 7, we this time see Calamity taken, and that Feral is, compared to Battlefield of Eternity, not heading again into a full-on missile build. Because, as I said, if you want to really get value out of a Li Ming pick, then you need to be able to play with Calamity, or you're just wasting the potential of the heroes. It is unfortunately reality that it's a must-have. Fel play for Gul'dan, Pursuit of Flame, has also an Ana in the setup, so we can see a bit of a nano boost later on in the game. Sylvanas Pressure is obviously another thing that they're can try to set up here with the Overwhelming Affliction. And in the meantime, the wave clear that we see from the Water Dragons is actually pretty solid through Johanna. And Imperial Sylvanas is also in the mix, but of course on the other side you have the Gul'dan, you have Blaze. It's actually kind of interesting. I mean, if you followed a lot of the other tournaments that we covered the past few weeks, then you can really tell that there's a huge difference in drafting. And of course, the lower you go in the Amateur League, the more pronounced that difference is going to be, simply because you're relying more and more on preference picks and on also like sometimes heroes where you have to swap roles. So the higher level of play, the higher you go on the level of play, normally you have players really focusing on one single role that they play for the team, and then multiple heroes within that role. If you start to go a little bit further down, as we see probably the first kill coming in, yep, Malfurion dies. As you start to go further down into the leagues, you will quickly find people that don't necessarily even play a specific role, maybe outside of supports, but some guy will play Johanna, another guy will play ETC, and so you have to be a lot more flexible in the terms of how you draft, and you have to go into way more out of meta picks, simply because those heroes might not be available for those players that you have. On a map like this, I mean, even ignoring that we don't have all of the facts available regarding the draft, Zul, for example, missing over here. Where's Urel? Not really taking it either. There's a lot of picks that you see in pretty much any kind of top-level game that are just must-haves that are currently not being, respected or taken here. And that difference comes simply because of those preference picks, of the fact that sometimes you don't even commit to roles with a single player, simply because you're playing on a lower level and you have other priorities that you have to bring to the table in such a fight. Either way, with that said, we have at least dominance now taken on Li Ming on her level 4, so I'm actually a little more hopeful when it comes to level 7 abilities here. At the same time now, the improved life tap over for Gul'dan, and a fight over the two camps that both of the teams went for immediately, as we had the spawn ready. Also, Siege Giants bot side were taken by JD Goes Hard, so with one kill in the back, they're actually doing fairly okay in the early stages. Turn-in has been a bit more successful up to now for the Water Dragons, but the gap is nearly closed, as the red team turns their gems in as well. Good for them. Top side, Sylvana is hoping to push this entire thing out. Jumps out with the wave, gets hit by the sleep dart. Sonic was just waiting for it. There's the tether, no escape, and that's a kill. The gems get recovered, so there's that, but that's the second kill, 2-0. We got the level 7, and another sleep dart setup. Jesus. Yeah, that's Li Ming dying, and the quest completed for Gul'dan. They are absolutely murdering here, and Ana is getting spam pinged, rightfully so. Nicely done, setting up 2 kills in a row for the team here. Very well done. So now they are looking at a 3-0 kill count on this third map, and again, this is the best of 3 series. This is the last map right here. So there's Calamity. I like it. Much better setup right now. Okay, so that's cool for them. Let's see what they can do for it. We don't, unfortunately, have the combo with Ana as they did on Battlefield of Eternity. The Ana setup this is going to happen on the other side. Yeah, they're still trying to chase Sylvanas, and that honestly should be once again a kill, and it couldn't come at a better time for them. Yeah, once that she's down, I mean, they're a little bit trapped over here, but it's going to be a 4 vs 4. Can they get Gul'dan? The counter kill, nice! Li Ming, reset, baby! But is not able to connect a second kill. But still, they're trading kills. That was important, because as the Web Weavers come down, you don't want to be at a numeric disadvantage. There's a slide after tether. Nicely done. Li Ming in trouble. Has the teleport. Can move out. Sleep Dart this time doesn't connect. But now we have Web Weavers in the middle, up at the top, and of course at the bottom of the map where Blaze is currently trying to push this in as well. Alright. So far, so good. 12 stacks for ETC, 10 for Blaze. They're still trying to go for that Li Ming kill that they missed out on earlier. A little bit more damage from Gul'dan. Again, didn't go for the Echoed Corruption on level 1, so it doesn't really stack on this one. They got some damage, but if you look at those walls, I mean, it's not really that they accomplished a lot. They took the towers and the gate down in the middle and at the bottom of the map, but that's about it. Don't have enough gems for another turn in here. Instead, it's the Water Dragons that have the gems available to go for objective number 1. I could try and look for that, but so far it's not really the case. They're trying, but Mustard should be able to interrupt that. Yeah, and he does. And Sylvanas has by now moved down to the bottom of the map to try and take the Siege Giants. So, as they know they're not 100% going to be able to take the Web Weavers right away, especially since their level 10 just came a little bit later. They are instead going for the camp at the bottom of the map. So far, so good. But now we have both teams ready, and here it comes. This is the wave of force here. So, no Nubarak on the other side, no need for Disintegrate. Much more normal build for the Water Dragons on Li Ming right now, which could really help them here. 5 stacks on the Broccoli. Oh, Malfurion goes down again. Second time that he falls. Couple of gems are lost. Nothing insane, but still everything counts here, of course. And that's 5 kills to 1 now, so it's not really a good start for the Water Dragons. They have problems on this third map. And there's still no turn-in for the blue team. And slowly but steadily, the red team is starting to get the amount of gems that they need for a second Web Weaver wave. But the blue team is finally able to turn it in. Alright, as the fight happens up at the top. Nano boost on Knetterback, by the way, allows Gul'dan to get a bit more damage out, but it's not really enough to net them another kill. Nice pressure here at the bottom of the map on the other hand, starting to put some damage onto the fountain first and foremost. Jufta is still sitting tight. Yeah, and now the opportunity to maybe get some structural damage in. The Water Dragons, they need to start and put some numbers on the board here. We had 14,000 damage for Li Ming, 16,000 for Maiev. Trying to go through the middle. Gul'dan has an easy time defending the top, and Blaze is left alone at the bottom, so both of those lanes are not going to do anything with the objective. It's all about the middle right now, and I guess they are hoping that they can take down the fort here, but so far it doesn't look like that's anywhere. I mean, that's not in the cards. There's an easy defense right here. Top lane has already been demolished. At the bottom of the map with the Sylvanas push, they're obviously hoping for more, but even here it's not happening. Mustard is able to take those Web Weavers down. So that objective did jack shit. That didn't do anything. For a second objective, they were barely able to take a few towers and gates down. There could have been more, especially with Sylvanas, of course. Gabriel is sliding in, apparently trying... Oh, and he's about to get murdered here. Don't tell me he actually walks away from this. Wow. Water Dragons just losing the focus here. They could have started into this fight with a quick kill. Instead, they are losing 2, but at least they turn it against ETC and Gul'dan, both of them falling eventually. That's obviously where Feral also with the resets is starting to come in for the extra damage. The build working out for him, getting the calamity value here. But at the same time now, we got Rifta looking for a turn in 2. And they don't have enough gems, but the red team definitely does. So if they just turn in what they have, that's another objective right there. It's 7 kills against 3 now. Topside pressure is also coming through. And, well, what do we have? 13 against 13 in just a moment. It's still even. Still fairly even. There isn't a fort that has fallen, a little bit of damage done in the middle. But this Web Weaver wave could hit hard. Imperius is also taking quite a bit of damage topside. So he needs to be careful too, but still has the fountain up, so that allows him to stay in the fight and doesn't have to Hearthstone out. That slide could have actually meant the end of Johanna, if not for the Iron Skin here. Quest is completed. Down to the bottom of the map. Master is pushing this out against Li Ming. She's going to have a tough time defending this on her own. And up at the top. Oh, careful. Yep, for exactly that reason. It's a little bit too predictable. And now she's in trouble. They even commit to the Horrify. And that's a kill against Sylvanas. Outplayed herself a little bit right here.
Yeah, as they are pushing through the bottom fort, taking this down. They now have the pressure up at the top. And this one is going to fall as well. They're hoping for another kill. But the Iron Skin cooldown is ready for Johanna. So nothing happening here. But here, a quick look at that Sylvanas play. Again, she jumped back out. So she gave them pretty much a heads up. As she moved in, they committed to the Horrify in order to get the kill. But yep, that was slightly unfortunate for them. I mean, again, we've seen with Gore Rider and other players in the high levels some insane plays on that hero, but at the same time, if you're in a position like this one, and you telegraph a little bit too hard against this much CC, what you're trying to do, jumping in and jumping out of the fight like this, then you oftentimes will end up in a pretty dire situation, where they are just following wave number 2, and as you jump on it, they lock you down, and then there's the damage. Horrify, even getting that in, and that was a solid setup. That was a really solid setup from them. Now they have the Siege Giants too. So we have 8 kills against 3. And just generally speaking, they're doing absolutely fantastic. They have half a level lead. They got a big kill advantage. Web Weavers dropped 2 of the forts. So structurally speaking, they're looking sound. And now they are, of course, trying to capitalize on that advantage with a level 16 talent that would then allow them to take even more control of the game here. Sylvanas is pushing out the top as we speak. Half a level is still missing until 16. But they are still looking pretty decent here. Are they got boss? Okay. Bit of a weird boss timing, honestly. Yeah, nobody's moving here. There's Blaze. They see them at the bottom of the map, but that's a bit of an early boss commitment. That's a little bit more risky than it looks, honestly. That is way more risky than it looks. They don't have 16 yet. I mean, it seems like the blue team is simply trading and saying, alright guys, we're going to take the objective now. And trade it for the boss, but that could have been invaded. That was definitely invadable. There was a chance that you just simply move in and try to take that down, so it did work out. But if the blue team would have just called that, they could have committed to the fight and just said, alright, what you got? And of course, then if you lose, your entire advantage is gone. But as it stands, it's a boss taken by the red team, objective by the blue team. Fort is about to be taken down in the middle. They are still defending over here. And now, of course, we're going to see this defended as quickly as they possibly can. They can't really go into the fight just now. Don't tell me they take the fight now. You're up against the level 16 talents. What are you doing, boys? Just a few seconds ago, you refused to fight for boss, even though you were in even talents because you were afraid that the 16 drops in. Now you're in a situation where you're talent down and you're actually looking actively for the fight. I mean, it got shut down, but still. Now we have 16 for both sides. And here's the chance to make a play. Try and get the fight locked down at some point, and then they can go right away here. But first of all, the last Web Weaver still has to be taken down. So yeah, last Web Weaver gets attacked. And let's see. Doesn't do much. Takes a fort down, and that's about it. Damage output, by the way, we're currently looking at 23,000 for Maiev. She's actually top damage in the entire game with that. And right now, we have 0 deaths for Imperius, the only one on the blue team side that hasn't died yet. Level lead is what we currently still have. And all the forts are still in play. We're 13 minutes in, and all the forts are still available for the red team. JD goes hard, have a mad advantage now through this. And if they can hold on to this longer, that would be even worse. The only fountain that has been dropped is the one in the middle. So there's still a fountain available close to every single turning point, which is what one of the biggest advantages is of holding your forts here in the middle. So that's what they're currently trying to do. All the way up to the top, there's already the action happening as they're trying to go for ETC this time. Horrify comes out though. Gabriel might be in a little bit of trouble regardless on the other hand. They're trying to set the fight up. The Water Dragons are starting to battle this out a little bit. And Sylvanas jumped in to try and get Maiev, who jumps out again with the Ward of the Wardens. Here's already the mosh pit coming through as they're trying to turn it. And they're about to get the kill against Jojo, who falls. Gems are lost as well. The red team has all the gems they need for another turn. And they're trying to follow it up with another kill against against Sylvanas. In the heat of the battle, I can't pronounce this. Feral gets also away, but they are still down 1 player. And yep, that is a problem, because now we're going to have another turn-in. There's nothing to stop them anymore on this turn-in, and the forts are already gone. We have 16 seconds, 15 until Johanna is back. If they push out the bot lane a little bit further, they are going to have 3 lanes that push in aggressively. I mean, they're already going ham on the top lane as they're trying to break the wall down. This is likely going to result in at least one keep being eliminated. So, yeah. Let's see how that's going to work. Alright, up at the top. That's the one that they're pushing for in the most. Blaze is currently sitting there. Yeah, and even burns down another wave quickly before he joins the rest of the team. Johanna is the one moving into the middle, but they are getting attacked on all sides now. This is going to result in a lot of damage one way or another. The only question is, can they get a keep or maybe even more? If he gets a Horrify follow-up on that stun, that's a kill. But Gul'dan was a little bit too far out, wasn't able to make it happen. But they haven't really used a lot of their ults either. So they pretty much abandon the top keep because they know that the rest is also going to be attacked. They're trying to defend the remaining 2 lanes, which is not a bad thought. But one keep is definitely going to fall. And that's what we're seeing topside now, as level 20 is so close for JD Goes Hard that they are in a great spot. Coming back in this is going to be tricky. It's not going to be impossible. Water Dragons can still make this work. But they need Li Ming to pop off in one of these team fights and get the damage connected, or they're going to have a really, really rough game here. So right now, the push over to the camp as they're trying to get this one. Okay. On the right side, on the left side of the map, we see the same thing happen, but the level 20 talent again is a bit of a concern. And 35 gems is not really all that bad either. They were able to get a lot more kills throughout this entire game, so they denied a few gems to the Water Dragons. Now they are only 30 gems away from getting another Web Weaver wave. It's not going to happen within the next minute, but it's definitely within reach. And also, they have, of course, with level 20, a chance to simply push down the lane and hope for a team fight, as is. Bolt of the Storm is in for ETC. Horrify got upgraded. Full-on Flame fell, by the way. Fell Flame in the Fell Armor and the Rampant Hellfire for Gul'dan. Definitely not the setup that we traditionally see for him, but he has the top damage right now with 34,000. And has set up some nice kills also with the Horrify earlier. Still trying to force the fight over here. Good lockdown with the Root though. Malfurion laying down the lawn. If he doesn't do that, then we could theoretically see a dead Johanna. ETC was just waiting for the Iron Skin to be over so they connect the stun and the power slide. Now the push all the way up through the top. Clearing this out as well. They have 1 level left. 1 level until the blue team has their level 20. So this is really the time frame where you want to do as much as you possibly can. Where you want to go for example, boss now that it's up. They're already baiting a little bit around it. Blue team doesn't really make any plays yet, but thanks to the Siege Giants taken earlier, the bot lane is going to fall. So you are between a rock and a hard place. If you go down to the bottom of the map and you defend the bottom keep, then they take boss and go for core. But if you don't, how do you play it out? You lose keep if you don't react to this one. And as it stands, that keep is going to be in deep shit. That keep is definitely going to fall, especially with the next minion wave that is currently just moving in. Okay. Boss got teased a little bit, half a level missing until 20, and it seems like the Water Dragons have just said, okay, we won't be able to save the keep anyways. Let's try for the turn-in and try to fight with that get level 20. Keep is honestly still alive. They might just be able to hold that. That's actually insane. The wave came in at the perfect moment. They actually can keep it. Damn. If those Siege Giants would have shot another rock each over towards the keep, it would have been down. That minion wave arrived at the perfect moment in time to hold this. Great for them. Holding on to this a little bit longer is fantastic. Now, of course, if at any point Gul'dan or anybody else gets close enough to this thing, it's going to drop. But they wait for level 20. Can they really turn this back? Again, the reminder, not a single fort has fallen on the side of JD Goes Hard. That's going to change now, one way or another. But is it going to be enough? They're going through the bot lane, and this time we have a full 5-man setup with Sylvanas. So they're getting solid value here. They break through the fort, no problem at all. They go through that thing like hot butter through cheese. And same time now, they are trying to propel this even forward to the keep, as it seems. All the other Web Weavers are already taken down. Yeah, same time, 35,000 now for Li Ming. Good damage numbers on her. And Gul'dan is trying to counter that too. Alright, there's the hit. Web Weavers are already down. They took at least 1 fort, but guys, that's not enough. That is just not enough. You're nearly 20 minutes into the game, and the Web Weaver wave at this point only takes a single fort down. That is definitely not enough. Now, granted, the objective on this map is not really all that strong. Blizzard, ever since they changed things a little bit on the maps, the Tomb of the Spider Queen objective is one of the weaker ones, even in the later stages of the game. But if you get a 19-minute Web Weaver wave, and you only get one fort that was already heavily damaged, then it's not enough. Fight comes up, nano boost on Gul'dan, the cage trying to force it now here. And they're already starting to retreat. They want these snap moves and then they just don't really follow up on them properly. They are a little bit afraid here, as you can see. The Blessed Shield came out, they followed up with the arrow, but it wasn't quite enough. Top lane is pushing, and with 20 minutes on the board, you can't allow the catapults to get there either. The big problem is that JD Goes Hard has now 50 gems that they still hold, so that's an easy turn-in if they get to the turn-in point, and someone will have to move away. Sylvanas is doing exactly that. I don't know why they're going for the camp, by the way, right now. This is the moment where you know they're going to send someone back, so you should be at the point and capitalize on the lack of Sylvanas. Now, taking this camp is important too, but they should have already been ready and turned in. If they get the turn-in for free right now, then it's honestly because the Water Dragons didn't properly pay this out. Yeah, they turn everything in with the exception of the last 11. That turn-in of those gems should never have happened. There are interrupts available. Johanna has the flashlight. They needed to be there. Malfurion has also tools for a long-range interrupt. So those gems turned in, that's a bit of an oversight from the Water Dragons here. But as I said, GD Goes Hard, they took the camp, but they should have taken this later. And once that they know the catapults are gonna hit the core any second, they needed to be at the turning point. They could have gotten the Web Weavers right now, because someone has to retreat. This is the whole reason why you're setting these plays up in the first place. 3 kills to 9. Still the big lead here. And everybody is just looking for opportunities. And with the Siege Giants plus catapults at the bottom of the map now, obviously this keep eventually is going to fall if nobody comes in. Free turn-in apparently here. Mustard out-rotating him a bit and gets the final few gems turned in. So now the Red Web Weavers are coming down and the blue team is already on the way back because they're realizing this is going to be rough. Yeah, this is going to be a difficult defense. They're trying to trap here, but not everybody is ready. There's the Blessed Shield, and the follow-up just isn't there. Sylvanas wasn't there for any damage. They are just 2 split at this point. They're trying to go for ETC, and he dies. Is that the play? Maybe not. Malfurion falls, and they get the second kill against Sylvanas. Well played here. 2 down. Web Weavers are already on the ground. The one at the bottom of the map is taking down the keep any moment now. They're still trying to chase Li Ming. She's low, might fall, tries what she can, but that's the end of her one way or another. Feral is running, actually might survive if Imperius is getting the hit in. Yeah, Feral might just be able to make it, but let's be honest, that doesn't really change anything anymore because the Web Weavers are already on the core. The middle keep is the last one standing, that's getting attacked too. And the core should fall at this point. We're 22 minutes in, there's only 3 defenders there. Granted, ETC is missing as well, but this is going to be JD Goes Hard advancing to the grand final of the Legendary Cup. Or are they? Gul'dan is down, Ana is dead, Blaze is dead too, and they're about to lose Maiev as well. 5-man wipe, what? They have to take these catapults down, and they do, but they actually hold for now. 12 points on the core. The fuck? Oh my god, they didn't actually end it yet. So the problem is, what do you do now? What do you do now? Everybody is dead with the exception of ETC. They don't have enough for a turn-in. Where are they trying to go? They have Sylvanas, but Sylvanas is sitting at the top. If they really want to pressure through a lane, they could try and get the bot lane with the help of Sylvanas. They already take this down. Sylv in the middle, is she going for the catapult? No, she's not. They can't end the game. They won't be able to. Boss might have been the best choice, honestly. I mean, the idea here is definitely to go for keep, and keep will fall. The only question is, would it have been better for them to go boss, even though the boss still has to go through a fort? They need to attack with everybody. They need to take this keep down as quickly as they can. It's pretty much the only chance that they have to at least alleviate some of the pressure at the bottom of the map. Sylvanas jumps in, jumps out, they get the keep, and now they have to fall back. And the problem is still going to be the boss up at the top side. That's where someone has to make the next play here. Middle of the map has to be defended against. 2 catapults. Someone has to Hearthstone. Yeah, Sylvanas is doing that, so is Jojo. Both of them Hearthstone. Both of them do it quickly. Okay. Again, boss was obviously another play available. The only problem is there's only a fort and a keep still in play. So you have to go through everything. They're going for boss on the other hand, or at least they're trying to. Malfurion is now moving through the middle, and so he should. They need to force the fight and win it. It's the only thing that you can do at this point. If you're so far behind, if you take the camp at the bottom of the... if you take the camp over here, you buy yourself a little bit more time. They didn't do that this far. Sylvanas is now moving into the middle, try and take this one down, but you have to make a choice right now. Either you go for boss and you take the battle, or you go for the camp in the middle to buy yourself more time so that you can play this stalling game up at the top. That's the only thing that you can do. They have vision on the opponents. So there's no backdoor potential. JD goes hard, can't do anything here. They go for the boss. They try to win it here. It's one of the few moves that is still available to them, given that the middle is pushing too. Need to be really careful also that the red team is just not making a play there. Boss is starting to slowly go down, but so is Johanna. Nice Iron Skin timing. Prevents the worst. The Horrify, and that's the kill. Jojo down, and catapults are on the core any second. Catapults are on the core. It's Winion's time. Ladies and gentlemen, those catapults are going to win the game right now. Unless someone stops them. 3 down. That's game either way. 4 eliminated. And this is going to be it. Nicely done. A good defense initially by the Water Dragons as the first attack happened. Li Ming on a mission, saying like, alright boys, I got this. I got news for you. She doesn't. This is game. The Water Dragons are out, and JD goes hard. Moves on to the grand final of the Legendary Cup.